Hi class. I thought I would try to do a little video to show you what data, kind of like the data scrubbing piece looks like, which is what we've just been talking about this last week. Um, so again, I'm using RapidMiner here is what you're seeing, and it does not matter about what tool we're using. The method and the process would be the same no matter if you're using R, etc. What we're doing is learning, again, the method of taking a source file, reviewing it, and as a modeler, figuring out what it is we want to do with our data. So that's kind of what I want to walk through here real quick. I am using the Lending Club credit data, but if you're doing employee attrition or churn project, again, it'll be the same method that you'll go through. And so again, independent of what project you do, you'll go through these steps typically with every new set of data you get as you're starting your modeling. Okay, so because it's such a large data set, I'm not going to pull it all in and everything, but as you can see, I've got the Lending Club full data set. I'm retrieving it from my data repository, and what I'm doing here is I'm just writing it out. If and when I press this play button, what it does is it'll execute it and it'll write it out to the result set. It only takes a second, but again, I've already done that. So if we let it go, then what it'll do is it'll bring me over to the results set, and out of here, what I'm going to see is all the data. Okay, these are all the different columns we have in the data set. Now, it's kind of challenging to look at it this way. So one of the things that we do first is hit the statistics. This is the descriptive statistics that we talk about. So right now it tells us what type of variable we're dealing with. So in data analytics here we have an integer variable, which is a full number. There's no decimals on this one in particular. We also have what they call polynomial, which is like you can have groupings of data. So this is 60 months, 36 months. So if we look at the term back in the data, we see 36, 60, and there's probably some other ones. So what that tells us is, well, actually there's only two, so it should be really binomial. There's only two options. It's either 60 or 36 months. So that makes it a categorical variable. The interest rate, now that is probably not a polynomial, meaning it's not, they are distinct values. So one of the things we would want to do maybe on that one as we look at it is actually convert that to a real number like 0.0649 and make it a value. So that would be something we would take a note on because we would do that. Oops, I apologize. That'd be something we'd take a note on, and we would change that. That would be a transform. But as you can see, we keep going through. Now, here's an installment. So installment itself, if we go back here, that means what the payment is per month. Okay, that makes it what we call a continuous number. So on a continuous basis, here's the minimum. It was a $14 payment. The maximum was a $1,400 payment with an average of about $441. Okay, so what we can do here is actually look at it a little bit more and drill through. And what we'll see here, this is a histogram of that data. Okay, and further, we can actually click through and open the chart and see what the histogram looks like. Now, if you want to do some more analysis, you can actually change the number of bins, maybe, things like that. Okay, and just while we're here, without thinking about it, I'm not sure. I don't have I shouldn't have clicked that. But anyway, right now, yeah, that's not the right thing I want to look at. So if I go back to our histogram here, so histogram right now would be a way just to kind of see different, like let's look even at loan status. See, in loan statuses, we have multiples. Again, it's categorical, and then it shows us. So that's a little different way of looking at the data, but we can see that. Something else we can see is maybe, let's see, what might be another interesting thing. How about I don't know what employment title is, so I don't know what that one would be. Here's our terms we talked about. Grade, that tells us the risk level of that loan, I believe is what that was. Purpose, maybe let's look at purpose. See, that's kind of interesting. So it tells us it's mostly debt consolidation or credit card. So purposes does seem to have some, it's a fairly, debt consolidation seems to be the primary for both, because that's credit card as well. Anyway, so that's what this histogram does for us. So now, let me go back to the statistics. But again, you'll continue to work through here. You need to identify which things are, one of the things I want to show you is, like, if we have a value, and there's a binomial for us. If we have a value that I'm looking for a value, so that would be more of a categorical value, like what type of checking account it is. It might have 4 values, like, that are integer based. Let me see if I have any in here. This might be a way to look at it. But if you look here, it's minimum and it's maximum. Well, it's got an average. It's really not an average. It's either it's a categorical value. So one of the things we need to do is make sure we change that to be categorical if it truly is. If it's a number representing information. So again, this is kind of how we would do this. And then once we get all of our information, laid out for our values that we want, like all the different items, we'll come back in our design. And then from there, the tools that we work with will have things like we can change the type from a numerical to binomial or polynomials. And so you have a way to convert types. You'll want to say, what attributes do you want to actually select? Okay. And then, so you may want to select, you want to exclude attributes. So like here, we may want to drop this in, and we might want to select a subset of attributes where, like maybe, let's see, I don't really have a good, what I would probably do here at this point is select them all and then start excluding things that I don't want. Like, let's say we want to exclude these things that we don't, we don't know that they're, just to show. So we would exclude a set of attributes. So that's how we can filter out different variables we don't want to, work with. And then, so again, I think that's, pretty much what we would do at this stage. I don't know if this is helpful or not, but again, it continues. And I think where I want to pick up is I'll do another video following this, which is actually going to convert all the different data types. And I'm going to actually skinny down the data set and then start running some different ways that we go from the data source up to the model input itself and show how we transform those data, like dealing with missing data and things like that. Oh, I did want to show that. I do apologize. One of the things here is missing column will show. You'll be able to know what's missing. So there's 23,000 missing values in this one. Out of 421,000, I mean, that's like half, you're looking over half, and again, looks like these are missing. So that's an important way to look at your data as well. This one's not there pretty much at all. So again, this is a way that you look at your data and we start determining what we want to do with it. So these would be columns we would probably go ahead and exclude. All right, I think that's all I have for now. And then again, I'll do another video on modeling after this. Thanks.